Denzel Mims is on his way out. Former New York Jets second-round pick, spent some time with the Detroit Lions. Last season has yet to catch on in the NFL. Signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers practice squad in October of 2023. Spent all of last season since then on the practice squad. Came into this summer with a ragtag group of wide receivers that you thought maybe there was some space for him to make some noise and see if there was a shot. He was a name I've mentioned a number of times on this show as a guy that I didn't know if he would make the 53-man roster. I wouldn't even guess that he would, but I wanted to see if he had an opportunity to. I wanted to see if there was something there that the Pittsburgh Steelers could latch themselves onto and make the most of during this summer. And when you're competing with guys like Van Jefferson and Scotty Miller and Quez Watkins and Marquez Callaway, you kind of feel like you got an opportunity as a second-round pick, a very physical wide receiver, and he definitely looked the part at times, but he is on his way out. I think a bit of a surprising move, led to a lot of speculation when it came to the fan base and what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do and why they randomly created a roster spot moving forward. We'll dive into that in a second here, but first I want your reaction. Middle of the day news. According to NFL Network, the Pittsburgh Steelers have let go to Denzel Mims.
Yeah, whenever I saw this move come across the wire, I was like, well, okay. I mean, I guess they have somebody who they have their eyes on. That doesn't necessarily mean, as we'll get into, an individual that has certainly been the cause of speculation around the NFL all week long, but it just means that he was on the bottom of a totem pole that has been very, it has fluctuated a lot because there's a lot of names on that list that they basically said whoever's the best we're going to keep, and whoever's at the bottom of that totem pole is probably gone, and it just ended up being Denzel Mims.
Yeah, I agree. I thought I was a bit shocked that he was dead last on that totem pole. I mean, there's a guy I want to say his name's Jalen Camp. I don't know. I know his last name's Camp. I know his number's 85. I know he makes some plays from time to time. I thought he was last on the totem pole. I did not think Denzel Mims was last on the totem pole. Thought Des Fitzpatrick could have been last on the totem pole. Didn't think it was going to be Denzel Mims. Apparently it was. That's where you go from here, is why. There's no reason, and me and you talked. I mean, I've talked to everybody as we prepare to go into this black hole, as we continue to call it. I make my phone calls. I talk to literally everybody on our team, and we continue to discuss the same thing. All right, guys, I'm going away for 10 days. I won't be here. That's okay, because chances are the NFL is stepping away, and there's not really a lot that's going to go on. There aren't really big moves that are going to be made. At this point, everybody's kind of gearing up for vacation, settling into their own and evaluating where they are without really adjusting much. The Pittsburgh Steelers said, we're not so done yet. And there's no reason to make a move like this unless you're going to add somebody. And that happened last time. I don't remember who they released, but they eventually signed Cam Sutton, and that was the move that came with it. You have to believe that this is going to be the same way, but I'm not ready to dive into, this is it. This is the Brandon Ayuk move. You're clearing some space. You're clearing a spot for the San Francisco 49ers wide receiver. And maybe I'm dead wrong here, but I'm not ready to jump onto that boat yet. I think this is a minor move that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to make and continue to adjust and work through, as they do literally every single day from here until the end of August, where they constantly rotate guys in and out. I look at this as, somebody's probably coming. Something's probably happening, but I'm not totally sold that it's going to be a guy like Brandon Ayuk or a big move for Cortland Sutton or John Mechie or Deebo Samuel or DK Metcalf. I don't think any of those guys are what's coming next. I wouldn't be surprised if a tight end shows up in Pittsburgh because you have a room or a spot for a tight end, and you had a spot for a tight end, but you had to release him because you made some moves and brought in Jonathan Ward and then Cam Sutton. I think something like that is much more likely than the Pittsburgh Steelers making a massive splash. I still continue to sit with the idea that I don't believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to make a move for Brandon Ayuk right now. Do you think I'm wrong? You think I'm, for once, if you talk to a lot of people there's a very 50-50 split here in the all Steelers talk fan base, where it's Noah comes up with some ridiculous stuff and Noah's spot on. And most of the time, everybody's right at some point. Do you think I'm maybe being a little bit too laxed with where we are right now?
I don't know, because I saw all those Brian Windhorst memes. Now, why would they do that? And honestly, I don't think it's a coincidence that the UFL season also ended last week and the Steelers wanted to have a roster spot opened up. So there might be a connection there. Again, that's just me putting 2 and 2 together, and it might not be what's actually happening, but I feel like that has something to do with this as well. And whenever I look at what that actually is, cutting a guy like Denzel Mims, to me, that is less indicative of a move than whenever they cleared out Alex Highsmith's cap space right before the draft. Nothing happened back then, so I'm not going to jump to conclusions with something like this now.